What's up guys, Adriana here. This week, instead of posting a vlog, since I'm not really traveling, I thought I would give you guys 15 things I learned while traveling Europe for 3 months by myself. So here we go. Number 1, water is expensive. In America, we're super used to going to a restaurant and you just get water for free and then a drink or whatever you want on top of it. But in Europe, anywhere you go, you have to pay for the water. Some places it's like if you order a coffee or something, they'll give you a small glass of water. But if you're someone like me who drinks a gallon of water a day, be prepared and bring your own water. Something else to keep in mind, which I really found useful when I was walking around Budapest in the 90+ degree heat all day, is to bring a reusable water bottle with you.
Pro tip, when you're walking around all day exploring, bring yourself a reusable water bottle so you don't have to pay for water all the time. I've filled this baby up 4 times already.
There are usually fountains pretty much anywhere you go. You can fill up your water bottle so you're not paying for water all the time and you stay hydrated. Number 2, bathrooms cost money. There were a lot of places I went where if you wanted to use a public bathroom, you had to pay 50 cents. So not a huge deal, but make sure you have 50 cents if you gotta pee. Number 3, Google Translate will be your best friend. With all of my traveling, I went a lot of different places and heard about 5 or 6 different languages in most places that I went. And a lot of places, signs are not both in whatever the language is there and English. So Google Translate, if you have the app, pro tip, if you have the app, you can actually take a picture and it translates the text, and then you can pause the picture taking to read it. Number 4, currency exchange. So most places in Europe use the euro. I think the only place that I went that didn't use the euro was Budapest and Copenhagen. When you're exchanging money, if you want to get cash, don't do it at the airports or any big touristy areas. It's best to go to an actual bank and take money out of the machine like that instead of taking your American dollars or wherever you're traveling from and exchanging it at a currency exchange. Just keep your money for when you go back home. Use your debit card, take money out at a major bank, and you'll usually get a better exchange rate. So another thing with currency exchange, whenever you pay somewhere with your credit card on the card reader, it'll usually ask you if you want to pay in, for me it was US dollars or in euros. I would usually choose euros, I think because it would show an exchange rate. And I think if you let your credit card company do the exchange, you get the best exchange rate that you can. I'm not positive about this, so maybe do a little more research, but that is something that I came across. Number 5, pretty much everything is closed on Sundays. I found when I got to Germany, the first night, I got there on a Sunday at about 7:30 at night. I finally got to my Airbnb and I needed to go grocery shopping, and I had to travel about 20 minutes to find just a small convenience store that had some sort of food to make dinner and have breakfast for the next day. So just keep that in mind when you're traveling. If you're traveling there on a Sunday or you're there on a Sunday or wherever, you might not be able to do everything you thought you could. Number 6, tipping at restaurants. In America, it's pretty standard whenever you go out to a restaurant and you have a server, you tip 20% on the bill. That's, I would say, pretty standard. In Europe, there are some places where you actually don't tip at all. It's included in the price of the food, and the servers get paid a more reasonable hourly wage, so they're not living off of their tips. So just be aware, I remember, I think it was in Germany, you didn't tip. In Vienna, when I was in Austria, it was you tipped if the service was really good. Just look it up on Google before you go wherever, just so you make sure that if it is a place that you should tip, you are tipping to make sure you are satisfactorily compensating the servers. Number 7, Public transit is amazing in Europe. I mean, I pretty much stuck to major cities, so you would expect the public transit to be pretty good, but it was so organized, pretty much always ran on time. I found pretty much everywhere I went, the public transit was on point. Something to keep in mind about public transit, some places are super strict about having a ticket and you can get fined, like seriously fined. When I was in Berlin for the month, I just bought a 1-month pass because I knew I was going to be using the tram and the buses on a daily basis, getting to and from where I was going. And there, I know if you didn't have a ticket for any ride and someone came on and was checking people's tickets, if you didn't have one, you could get fined. I think it was like 60 or 80 euros. So just be aware of what places are a little more strict and have fines for not having a ticket. When I was in Vienna, I was there for 2 weeks and I bought one single pass ticket and was never checked. It could just be that I got lucky. So I guess it's kind of your own risk. Number 8. Make sure as a traveler you want to bring your passport with you everywhere. You don't want to be that person caught without your passport, because I don't know what would happen. I only had it one time when I was traveling by train from Amsterdam to Copenhagen, where as we crossed over the Germany-Denmark border, we were stopped. Someone boarded the train and they were checking everyone's passports and tickets to make sure you were allowed to be there. But I think better safe than sorry. Just always have your passport with you safely in whatever bag you're carrying. Number 9. Especially if you're traveling by yourself, if you're going to be doing a lot of day-long excursions, make sure you have a portable charger, because if you are like me and are constantly using your phone or the battery is just really bad, you want to have a charger with you so you can find your way back to wherever you're staying or wherever you're trying to go. I bought a charger on Amazon. I'll put the link down below. It was the best charger. Definitely recommend having a good portable charger with you if you are traveling a lot. Number 10. If you are a true New Englander and you love your iced coffee, be prepared to not be able to get that in Europe. I had so many times where people were like, what? Like, people just don't drink iced coffee. The first time I asked for it was in Berlin, and the lady goes, you want ice cream in your coffee? And I was like, no, I want ice cubes in my coffee. And I was like, is that not a common request here? And she was like, I've actually never been asked for that in the whole year that I've been working at this cafe. I don't know about you guys, but I prefer my coffee iced instead of hot. I just think it tastes better. So yeah, be prepared for you to get some funny looks if you ask for an iced coffee, and make sure when you ask for iced coffee, ask for coffee with ice cubes, because if you ask for iced coffee, you very likely will get coffee with ice cream in it. I've run out of hands. Number 11. Going out. So I am one, I love to go out, definitely have a good time. And something I realized is that the different places I went out, it's like a totally different vibe. When I was in Berlin, it was like you weren't supposed to look like you were trying too hard, otherwise they literally wouldn't let you in. That's a big one. In Berlin especially, they would just look at you and say, nope, leave. I waited over an hour and a half in line one time for a club in Berlin with some friends, and we weren't dressed for their vibe or whatever. We got up to the front, we got to the bouncer, and he goes, no, move to the side. And we were like, what? So it's kind of hit or miss, but also just kind of look at what other people are wearing to see what the vibe is to go out. Number 12. Fanny packs are a must.
I've officially gone full fanny pack because it is too freaking hot.
This has got to be my favorite fashion trend that has made it all the way back around from when I was a child. My grandpa wears a fanny pack literally as long as I've been alive, and probably before then, but they're back in trend and they are the best. I got this fanny pack in Berlin, and this was pretty much the only bag I took around with me during the day. Can put everything you need. Keeps it close to your body, which is also really safe when you're a foreigner. Pickpockets, you have something close to your body, a little bit safer than like a bag swinging around by your side. So fanny packs, hell yeah. Number 13. So something that I noticed a lot of places in Europe is that people re-wear clothes a lot from like a day-to-day basis. Whereas in America, especially with like social media, everyone's like, oh my god, I can't wear the same thing twice. In Europe, it's like no one cares. Also better if you're traveling for a long time, way easier to pack if you don't take like tons and tons of clothes. When I went to Berlin, I had a huge bag, a huge like check suitcase, I had a carry-on suitcase, I had a backpack, a massive backpack, and one of those Lululemon bags, also filled with stuff.
Never again am I traveling with more than one suitcase. Too much stuff.
I got there and one of my roommates was like, why do you have so much stuff? And I was like, because I don't know how to pack light. And I will tell you, I have learned a lot about packing light from traveling. After I was in Berlin, I went back to my family in Belgium and I was like, I am never traveling with this much stuff again. So from there on out, I would go a couple weeks and pack into a carry-on suitcase and a small backpack that I had with me pretty much everywhere. So yeah, re-wear your clothes, no one cares. Number 14. In a lot of traveling that I did, I stayed in hostels, which was super fun. Really cool, inexpensive way to travel. A couple things to keep in mind about hostels. Definitely go based off of reviews and location. Location is huge because if you don't want to pay as much for transit, getting a hostel in more of the center of the place that you are might be better, or if you don't want to be like by all of the touristiness, find one further out. Make sure when you're staying in a hostel, bring your own towel, bring shower shoes, and bring locks for your bags. Most hostels I stayed in had some sort of locker system in the rooms to put your stuff away, but you usually had to have your own locks to lock them, or you could rent a lock, or just go and purchase one of your own. Also, some hostels will give you a towel to use for showering, others don't. So if you're traveling for an extended period of time, better safe than sorry, just bring your own towel, bring some cheap shower flip-flops, because you don't want any of that nastiness from other people's feet. And make sure you bring a lock. I think those are the 3 most important things that you definitely want to have with you when you're traveling and staying in hostels. And speaking of hostels, it brings us to number 15, the final thing that I learned that I'm going to share with you guys. Traveling by yourself is so much fun when you're staying in hostels. It's a great way to meet other people. I found so many places I went, all these other people who were also staying in the same hostel were traveling by themselves, which was really cool because I met people from literally all over the world. It's super easy to find people to hang out with and do stuff with. I don't think there was a single city where I felt like I was completely alone. Like, there were some days where I would take the day and go and explore by myself, which was honestly so much fun because 1, you get to do literally whatever you want and see whatever you want. You get to literally be on your own, making your own decisions, what you want to do, what you want to see. So super cool, really exciting. But then again, you can also meet people at your hostel to do things with. I had plenty of places where I met fellow solo travelers, and we'd have like a little posse from my hostel, and we would go out and do stuff together for a whole day. We'd go and get dinner, we'd go and do excursions, like all kinds of fun stuff. That it's definitely like sometimes it's more fun to do things with other people, and so you get both sides of it. You get to decide really what you want to do, and how much alone time or meeting people time you want to have.
Hi, welcome to our vlog. This is Vlad. I'm Julie. We met earlier. We don't care about him. And hi. These are some hostel peeps. Got Kate, Matt. There's some other ones back there shopping.
Definitely recommend traveling and staying in hostels if you've never done it. Maybe even do it for like a week or 2 weeks the first time just to dip your toes in and get a feel for it. But it's so much fun traveling. I plan to go back in January and keep the traveling going. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope these 15 things help you, give you a little insight if you're traveling in the future or just want to know what it was like to travel by yourself for 3 months in Europe. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I post every Monday. Sometimes it'll be vlogs, sometimes it'll be things like this that I've learned while traveling. Hope you find it interesting. See you next week.